Yo, so down here in the early morning light with the sun coming over the fence. I recorded this already, oops, but those buttons don't always do their work. So here we are this morning. So I remember that I've got a clip in my hair. Wow. I feel the power of this tree. Remember, all is well. That God's plan for salvation isn't really for us to understand. And this lesson explains why. So here we go. God's will for me is perfect happiness. And today we will continue with the theme of that happiness. This is a key idea in understanding what salvation really means. We still believe it asks for suffering as penance for your sins. This is not so, yet you must think it so while you believe that sin is real and that God's Son can sin at all. If sin is real, then punishment is just and cannot be escaped. Salvation thus cannot be purchased, but through suffering. If sin is real, then happiness must be illusion, for they cannot both be true. Maybe if we were to place our religious beliefs just on the parables of Jesus, we might get a little bit more reality through, but that's just a little nick of mine at the moment, and you can see it doesn't really bother me. There's still 0 views. As I've now know, it's a cult and a religious organisation banning me. I can just go over on TikTok or Instagram, you see, and explain that lesson without any form of mention. The 3D world will do its thing. We're talking levels of perception here. So don't chuck your book down the garden today when you try and practice this. Do the exercises and feel the eternal bliss. If sin is real, then punishment is just and cannot be escaped. Salvation thus cannot be purchased, but through suffering. Okay, that I will not repeat again. If sin is real, then happiness must be illusion, for they cannot both be true. The sinful warrant only death and pain, and it is this they ask for they know it waits for them, and it will seek them out and find them somewhere, sometime, and in some form that evens the account they owe to God. They would escape him in their fear, and yet he will pursue, and they cannot escape. If sin is real, salvation must be pain. Pain is the cost of sin, and suffering can never be escaped. If sin is real, salvation must be feared, for it will kill, but slowly taking everything away before it grants the welcome boon of death to victims who are little more than bones before salvation is appeased. Its wrath is boundless, merciless, but wholly just. What kind of God is this? Who would seek out such savage punishment? Who would not flee salvation and attempt in every way he can to drown the voice which offers it to him? Why would he try to listen and accept its offering? If sin is real, its offering is death, and meted out in cruel form to match the vicious wishes in which sin is born. If sin is real, salvation has become your bitter enemy, the curse of God upon you who have crucified his Son. You, we, the whole world needs these practice periods today. The exercises teach sin is not real, and that all that you believe that must come from sin will never happen, for it has no cause. Accept atonement with an open mind, which cherishes no lingering belief that you have made a devil of God's Son. There is no Son. There is no sin. Now that is probably a message coming from an ancient belief, because what I'm going to say near here will negate that little mistake, because that's what they are, only mistakes. They are all changeable. Take the word devil, D-E-V-I-L, and then change it around and see how it reads the other way, L-I-V-E-D. All the evil that you think you've done is in the past, you see. Let's look at how this matrix works in all its magnanimity. And then allow the will of God to be worked out here on earth and saved thousands of years from a lot of hurt. Remember what we said about the call being heard by those that are not even yet born, that will take their stand when the time will come and start following the plan. One perfect teacher of God is all we need to change this world forever. And as teachers, good ones, have students better than themselves, then I will teach to all my brothers that would dare to listen and keep spreading my joyful energy to show you, even in dire circumstances, you can get rid of old beliefs. We're not jumping timelines, we're folding it. And that can appear before your eyes, like the whole world goes many years have now been saved. If you find this, start today. The other 100 lessons don't matter, you see. Start by giving 5 minutes every hour today, and the truth will set you free. There is no sin. We practice this with the thought as often as we can today, because it is the basis for today's idea. God's will for you is perfect happiness, because there is no sin and suffering is causeless. Joy is just and pain is but the sign you have misunderstood yourself. Fear not the will of God, but turn to it in confidence that it will set you free from all the consequences sin has wrought in your feverish imagination. And say, or write it on your hand, or even a bit of paper, God's will for me is perfect happiness. There is no sin. It has no consequence. Now do not, remember, get mixed up in levels of perception. I am spirit is a lesson we've already done together. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Understand that on a different level, not on getting your new car, house, clothes, or anything in this 3D manifestation. Take it deeper into yourself. Remember, we go down and in, under all of those thoughts that bring us a world of supposed sin. God's will for me is perfect happiness. There is no sin. It has no consequence. So should you start your practice periods and attempt again to find the joy these thoughts will introduce into your mind, give these 5 minutes gladly to remove the heavy load you lay upon yourself with the insane belief that sin is real, and that's all that PTSD is really. And when we let that belief go, we no longer feel sinful for the part we played in this ungodly show. And when God's plan starts to manifest and we move with grace and ease, oh, like I said, we save so many minds from unnecessary pain and dis-ease. Today, escape from madness. You are set on freedom's road, and now today's idea brings wings to speed you on and hope to go still faster to the waiting goal of peace. There is no sin. Remember this today, and tell yourself as often as you can. God's will for me is perfect happiness. This is the truth, because there is no sin. So there you go, lesson 101, which is rather apt, you'll see. There is no sin because there's nothing to fear, and no room like that exists. You'll see. So up we get, with no hands, and bow to you in reverence. Little bow, Cookie. And I'll wave to you and say goodbye. Just get